Okay guys, well you might think I could cover absolutely everything you need to know about cleaning your bike in one single video, guys. I actually can't, not if it's a 5-minute video. So, I'm going to tell you right now, the seals right here are underneath there, and you'll see I'm taking a toothbrush to them. And the reason is I want to get them nice and clean, you guys. I want to get all in back of here. These are really important. The reason I'm doing 2 videos on cleaning, of course, is because I couldn't fit it all in, and there's a lot of lubrication happens, and that's fine. Most people do way too much, and I'm about to cover that in the next video. In fact, I would do them both at the same time, but you shouldn't do them at the same time. And so giving them the video at the same time just seems silly to me. So what you really need to do is go over every area, guys, with this little toothbrush that you couldn't reach with the big brush. That even means little things. If you can get in there and get your brake pads cleaned, that's good, because they pick up grease and junk from the road, and you actually want your brakes to work as well as possible. I find every time I've ever done this, my brakes worked better after. Everything worked better after, guys. And you can see it's not complicated. It's really easy. You just go through it. And now, before it dries, you take a rag, guys. In my case, it's an old shirt, and I just give it a wipe down, okay? This is really important, guys. Same with my seals and my shafts. I don't want any dirt that's been washed off to dry on there, and it will. So clean your shafts thoroughly, and you will be glad you did, because on an electric bike build, the smoother the whole thing runs, the better, guys. So one of the areas I want to direct you to is right here. This isn't that important, you might think, but this junk gets into your quick releases, and for the lifespan of your quick releases and your bearings, that's actually really important, you guys. Now in this case, I don't really care how long the video takes. What I care is that you get the job done. Now you move down here. After wiping this off, just a quick wipe is all it needs. It doesn't have to be incredibly dry. And now you move down here and you do the same with your shocks. And I just move quickly, cleaning each area as I move through, top and bottom. And now one quick wipe is enough to get all the crud off. That's the most important part. You want things as clean as possible, guys. I mean, hey, these are nice Marisashi shocks. They're actually the piece on the bike I spent the most for. It only cost me 20 bucks for the frame from a buddy of mine who stripped it, kept all the parts off it because it was a fairly low-end frame. Found another frame he liked, and so he built that one and left this one out of the loop. That's just how that is. So as I'm going over here cleaning, mostly what I want you to pay attention to is the little things. Getting the dirt off is a huge thing. So is the lubricant. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to do 2 cleaning videos before I do a lubricating video is because I want you to clean off all the old crappy lubricant. And in a second, I'm going to take the phone out of the stand and I'm going to show you my chain setup. In fact, I may just pick the bike up and turn it around. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm also going to pull off the back wheel right now and put that aside. And you'll see that in a second. So let's pull this aside, and now let's flip it around. Now also, I will point out that with the bar ends I have on this, it makes it so much easier, you guys. So much easier to flip this upside down, because now I can just flip it and work on the bike. So now you're looking at my gear setup, which is important, because if you look, it's pretty darn dirty, you guys. And I don't want that. That's unacceptable. I was telling you guys that earlier. Especially you want to pay attention to in here and back in here where your bearing sets run, because those bearing sets get really, really dirty, you guys. And so clearly what I'm doing here isn't going to be enough. I'm going to have to get in there with my little toothbrush. It's one of the reasons I wanted to do this video. I realized I didn't cover very much there. And I want both sides of my gears cleaned. I want the top cleaned again, because one isn't really enough. You can do this in about 15 or 20 minutes if you're just going through it and not worrying about a camera or any of that stuff. If I'm just moving quickly, I can get through it very quickly. So take that before it gets a chance to really dry any crud on there, and go over it with your rag, guys. Just like this. All the little places I just got into, I'm just going to go into with the rag and pull all the junk off, and you'll find that this helps a ton. Now what I'm going to do is direct it right in here, and I'm actually going to clean all the junk right out of there next. And the reason is we're going to put new lubricant on. I have it with me, but we got to give it time to dry, so I'm going to do it in 2 separate videos for time. and you'll see why in a minute. The other video is actually going to take 5 minutes at least, because I need to show you guys all the little spots. So moving quickly into your brake area, into the back trailing arm. All really important. The trailing arm not so much obviously, but the brakes are incredibly important, guys. Also change your water often, because you don't want to be ramming dirt into your brakes, guys. You want them clean. And before I put my tires back on, I'm actually going to leave it like this for a little while, have a smoke break, wait 10 minutes, and let it cool. No, just kidding. No, I'm just going to let it dry out a little bit, because I actually can do this too. Take the edge of a shirt, put it in there, and rub it up along the pads. Now this is actually a clean shirt that just sat there for a long time. I never wear. I don't much like it, so it's fine. And there's that. Now we move over to the derailleur side. And again, this has a lot of little fidgety spots in it, guys. So you're going to see me go over this twice. Once with the big brush, just to make it a lot faster and a lot smoother, so that it doesn't take me 20 minutes like it normally does. But you can do it just with a little toothbrush. You can do it with a cloth or a rag. Over the years I've done it with all those things, and every single one of those worked, as long as it'll get you into all the little spaces. I've come up with doing it with this and the other, because I find it much faster, guys. Now one of the things I want to direct your attention to with this is you want to go into the gearing here, guys, and you really want to go in there good. So all the areas here, if you have too much lubricant on, putting more on isn't going to help, guys. That's actually not the answer. So what I wanted to point out here is you got to go all the way around, make sure this lube rotates all the way, and you want to get all the bearing dirt out of here. That's really important, guys, because there's no point lubricating it when it's filled with dirt, and there's no point lubricating it again when you've got tons of lubrication and crud in there. So I'd like to encourage you to take all the old crud out before we do this procedure. I'm going to show you guys a really good lubricant that works really awesome. I've been using it for a lot of years, and it's the one that I highly recommend. Now, that being said, I'm just giving it a real quick job here, guys, but this counts, man. You can see, just by the color of the water, I'll show you at the end, that it does make a difference. And you can just look at the bike, guys. Look at it the way it was in the earlier videos. You'll see the way it is when I'm done and how nicely it runs, and you'll know that this is why. There is no joke there. This is why. There's no other reason. It's because I maintain it and keep it properly lubricated, guys. Keep it nice and clean. I keep all my teeth clean on my derailleurs, and I lubricate them every couple of months, guys. I do this at least once every other month. Clean it. Make sure all the joints where it moves are lubricated, and you'll find it puts a lot less tension on your cable. All that good stuff, guys, makes a world of difference. And so I feel like these videos are absolutely necessary, and if I'm going to show you how to do this from used parts, the first thing is getting rid of all the old crap that the last person did. Fixing any minor damage. I haven't covered that because I won't. It's too long of a series already for me, really, in a lot of ways. I'm not sponsored, so I'm not trying to stretch it out. It's just, this is how many videos it takes to actually show you guys all this stuff. So, in the end, I really don't have a lot of choice. Now, as you can see, this has made a difference. Hopefully you can see. And I'm just going to slide it over here. Now, for the next video, I'm going to talk about lubrication, guys. You've seen the places I'm cleaning. All these areas are absolutely vital, and it's so much smoother running right now than it was before I started. I was having trouble turning this, and I'm still not done. So now, I'm going to get into my crank area, and I'm going to give it the exact same treatment, you guys. So, let's just make sure that's in the frame. And then we want to go in with the toothbrush, guys. Get all in here. Push it up against. This is more important than pushing it up against that. And once again, I'm going to take my rag and I'm going to put it in here because in certain areas, even a toothbrush is really tough to get in there. And so I'll take a shirt, wrap it around like this, and give it a once and around like that. And you can see here how much junk, hopefully, that just picked up. So that is worthwhile. And now look at this. Look what's coming out of it. Now that I've done that, that is all dust and dirt and lint and garbage, guys. And there's a bunch of it in there. So if you want a cleaner running bike as possible, as smooth a running as possible, you need to get rid of all that crud, you guys. The same goes for inside here, because there's bearings inside here, guys. And there's two ways to lubricate those bearings, and we're actually going to do both. One is through the hollow seat post. You take the seat out, you put a little bit of lubricant inside here. And what you do basically is you just put just enough into the frame of the bike that it drips down and gets in there and does its job. And that means it has to drip down far enough to actually make it to the crank. So you do have to put a fair bit amount when you do it that way. I actually like to put it in from the inside. I have a good penetrating lubricant that I use that you'll see in this series. It'll actually be the next video that goes up. And before we get into building an electric bike that's fast, the first thing is making it ready to be fast, guys. And that's partly in cleaning and making everything run smoothly. If you want the speed out of it that I'm telling you you're gonna get, you really need to do this stuff, guys, because you won't get this if you don't. My bike runs faster than most people's anyway, and that's why. I've done lots of races with people and had fun with people and gone cruising, and my bike is almost always faster. This stuff is why, Guy. Keith out.